So let's continue the conversation about recognition. According to the book, The Carrot Principle, when managers have the basics in place, clear performance goals, open communication, and a focus on building trust, recognition can actually be an accelerator of business results. And the key to making all of that happen is the leader. The way that leaders treat their people matters. And we're always making a choice. Leaders are always making a choice on how they treat their people, whether that choice is conscious or unconscious. And the results of that choice fit on this spectrum called mattering and marginalizing. And I was first introduced to this concept by a colleague at Echo International. When I ask participants in a workshop, hey, what does it look like when you matter to your leader? I hear things like, well, there's respectful behavior, I feel included, I feel part of a team, I feel like I can be counted on by others. Most importantly, I feel like my contributions are valued. There's a significant impact to that, by the way. And when I ask people what it feels like when they're marginalized in the workplace, I hear things like, I feel excluded, I don't feel part of the team, I'm not involved, it seems like my contributions don't matter. You can replace the words mattering and marginalizing with commitment and compliance. When people are compliant, they do exactly what they have to do and nothing more. They show up on time, they take their breaks, they leave exactly on time. On the other hand, when team members are committed to you, they go way above the call of duty for both you as their leader and for the organization. What type of team do you want to build? One that's compliant, where people just show up and do exactly what they have to do? Or one that's committed, where people go the extra distance for you in the organization? If you want to build a team of people who are committed to you, a big part of your leadership style has to be about recognition. Before we get into the details about how to properly recognize people in the workplace, I want to share some interesting information from some authorities in the field of recognition. The first is from the Gallup organization, and they found that individuals who receive regular recognition and praise increase their individual productivity, increase engagement among their colleagues, have better safety records and fewer accidents on the job. They're more likely to stay with the organization longer, and they receive higher loyalty and satisfaction scores from their customers. According to the book How Full Is Your Bucket, co-authored by Donald Clifton, who also co-authored Now Discover Your Strengths, they found that the number one reason people leave their jobs, they don't feel appreciated. They found that 65% of Americans received no recognition in the workplace in the past year. They found that bad bosses could increase the risk of stroke by 33%. A study found that negative employees can scare off every customer they speak with for good. And 9 out of 10 people say they're more productive when they're around positive people. Back to the carrot principle. They've got a study that they cite from Towers Perrin that was conducted in 2005 that says 86% of the world's employees are not willing to go the extra mile for their employers. So that means that 9 out of 10 of your people are not willing to go the extra mile for your employers. Think about that. They won't stay late, they won't work harder, and they won't give you their best ideas or go above and beyond for their bosses. According to the carrot principle, they are the disgruntled majority. And in the research conducted by the carrot principle, they found that in organizations and teams that are effective at recognizing excellence, those organizations and teams are more profitable, they have employees who are willing to go further, they stay later, and they take on more. So as you can see, recognition is a very important part of leadership. The challenge is that people don't often know where to start or how to apply it consistently. So I want to show you what I call the building blocks of recognition. And this will give you a model to apply recognition consistently on your team and in your organization. So let's talk about the building blocks of recognition. When recognition isn't done consistently, it can easily turn into a popularity contest instead of something that's meaningful and valuable and drives business results for an organization. I want to share a simple model. It's a framework that will help you provide recognition consistently and align rewards with achievements. This model is a modification to the model presented in the book, The Carrot Principle, and you'll also see some similarities to the building blocks of feedback that I introduced in People First Factor 2, Align Your Team. Here are the 4 building blocks of recognition. At the bottom, we start with aha moments. This is your everyday, ongoing, ad hoc, informal recognition that you can do on a daily basis and on the spot. You might even think of it as aha recognition, because when people do something good on a daily basis that you want to see them repeat, you simply recognize it. So these are no-cost or low-cost ways of recognizing people on a daily basis. The second building block is above and beyond recognition. And these are for your significant achievements. These are for people who go the extra mile. They work harder, they work longer, they accomplish something that has a significant impact on the business, such as on revenues or on cost or even on the customer. The third level of the building block is team recognition. Team recognition is recognizing a group of people at a significant point in time. It might be recognizing people for key moments in your team or your company's history. It might include recognizing people for completing key milestones or key accomplishments or achieving, for example, corporate revenue goals. Team recognition is an opportunity to build morale, it's an opportunity to build cohesion, and it's an opportunity to build employee commitment in your organization. And then the final building block of recognition is service award recognition. And these are awards that we give to people for years of service in their organization. So before we get into your next fieldwork assignment, let me go into each of those building blocks in a little bit more detail. Let's start with the aha moments. The key to making aha moments work is to use this form of recognition frequently. And you can use the recognition tracker that we suggest you use in your workbook. And this is similar to what we did with feedback. So just like with feedback, we want to make sure that your recognition is specific and it's behavioral based, and that you conduct recognition in a timely manner. We want people to be able to associate behaviors with recognition. And that won't happen if your recognition comes too far after the fact. Here are a few examples of aha moment recognition that I've seen work really well with my clients. One client of mine created business cards, each that had one of their corporate values on it. And when someone did something aligned with the corporate values, such as teamwork, integrity, or professionalism, other employees at the company would give them a values card. And when an employee collected one of each of the 5 corporate values cards, they received a small gift card to a restaurant or a coffee shop or something of that nature. So there's 101 ways to recognize people through this concept of aha moments. Maybe it's a quick email, maybe it's a handwritten note, maybe it's a pat on the back, maybe it's a simple thank you. The key is keep those aha moments timely, make them frequent, and keep them specific so people can link behaviors to that recognition. So the second building block of recognition is above and beyond recognition. And again, this is when somebody goes way above and beyond their duties and they produce some result for the organization. So there's a couple of key differences that we need to incorporate when people go above and beyond. The first and probably most important thing that you can do is to link your corporate goals and your corporate values to the recognition effort. The second is to make the recognition presentation personal. So this might happen one-on-one, or it might happen in front of a group of people. But it's a personal interaction between the leader and the employee who went above and beyond for the organization. And the third tip to making above and beyond recognition work is that there has to be a perceived value in the reward. So for example, one employee of mine made a suggestion and implemented an idea that freed up over $2 million in cash reserves for the organization in which they worked. This had a huge impact on the company. Now, if you give that person a $25 gift card for making such a big impact on the organization, that's probably going to be seen as an insult, and they might not be as committed in the future. But a weekend away, or an Apple iPad, or a free domestic flight, maybe valued at $500, would probably have a much more important perceived value for that employee. Let's quickly touch base about team recognition. Again, this type of recognition is all about hitting major milestones or accomplishments. So think about things such as product launches, key milestones, and project, and company milestones where you might be able to recognize people as a group. One of the mistakes that managers often make is completing a project, like a significant software release, and then very quickly moving on to the next task or goal without even taking 30 minutes to recognize the achievement. That's a very quick way to lose employee commitment. So try to embody team recognition, because I think it can really help build morale, build engagement, and get people excited to come to work every day. Let's briefly cover service award recognition. In the book, The Carrot Principle, they mention that most employee attrition happens within the first 3 years of a person's employment at a company. And if you look at that data in more depth, you'll notice that most turnover happens within the first 18 months of an employee joining a company. So managers have to do more frequent check-ins and updates within really the first 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days. If the new employee is a direct report, they should establish performance goals within the first few weeks. They should start having one-on-ones on a regular basis and have quarterly goal reviews on a regular basis. During that first 30, 60, 90 days, managers, leaders should also take time to get to know their employees and what's motivating to them and how they like to be recognized. They should also talk about where they want to take their careers and what training and development opportunities they might need. Let me make one final note. Many companies use an automated system to track recognition efforts and to guide the process. Make sure that if you're using an automated system, that your recognition efforts are personalized, because it's really not about the system itself. It's not about the technology. It's the personalized effort between the leader and the team member that makes the difference.